Welcome to the New Literacies Podcast, where we explore the professed transformation of traditional literacies and how it affects your children. Today's podcast will discuss how these new literacies address the concerns of traditional literacies alongside the new and how you can support opportunities for your Stage 3 children at home. New literacies can be seen as the term used to describe and capture newly emerging social practices of literacy to inform teaching strategies, opposed to solely using new technologies. A change in the classroom practice is essential as what it means to be literate has transformed in correlation to student demographics and differing language abilities. With this being said, it is vital that we as teachers incorporate traditional literacy practices such as reading, writing, and listening in conjunction with digital literacies as our students need skills or competences to ensure they are prepared for the modern workforce. With this emerging idea in mind, teachers are placing a larger emphasis on introducing various text types to your children. While print-based text obviously still has its role, has been transformed into a digital space where text consumption by our students is broadened and the opportunity for text creation is enhanced through greater levels of multimodal aspects of communication, of which are vital for your students to become skilled learners for life. In your child's classroom, I aim to incorporate a range of linguistic, visual, oral, gestural, and spatial modes of text. We refer to this as multimodality. This presents your child with the opportunity to ask themselves while creating text, what will I use to tell this story to represent the idea? Or how will I organise the information to achieve cohesion? And what do I want my reader to experience in this text? One strategy that I will incorporate into the Stage 3 classroom is the MGI model, also known as the Modelled, Guided and Independent Episodes. Through this, students are engaged in the text production process. Within guided episode, teachers provide students with the most level of support as I would demonstrate and model strategies that I would expect my students to use, such as think alouds, graphic organisers, and sentence starters. This phase places a large emphasis on the role of the teacher and the central role that teachers play in orchestrating learning experiences for students. The next level of this approach is providing my students with more control of their text creation, focusing on students working closely with me, their teacher, to refine their skills, and I can really start to individualise their needs and weaknesses and where instruction teaching on a particular area is needed. Finally, my students are then ready to complete the task on an individual basis. The students are now equipped with the skills to go off independently and choose how they wish to construct their text, whether that mode be linguistic, visual, oral, or gestural. Ultimately, your child begins to develop a long-term appreciation of being creative and provides opportunity for success. In practical terms, this could be used in the creation of a digital story, where I would model how it is done, asking prompting questions such as, what could I use here? How can I select or create an appropriate image or video? As a class, we first develop the skills we need to create a digital story, then go off in small groups to personalise their learning, then independently creating their own digital story. Another similar strategy is the gradual release of responsibility. It has a similar approach in its phases as the MGI. The step-by-step process of the MGI model promotes a gradual release in responsibility towards your children be in a position where they can create a digital story independently. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, this strategy sounds a lot like the MGI model, and very true, because it is. However, the gradual release of responsibility does not have to be linear. Sometimes I may start with the guided activities to see where your children are at currently, then move on to modelled activities and explicitly teach a skill that they may be struggling at. Therefore, the modelling and demonstration is focusing on what your child actually needs. To support your children at home, exposure to all kinds of text such as videos, songs, dances, fiction and non-fiction books and news is a great way to stimulate their thinking. You can also simply encourage creative and critical thinking while reading at home. For example, you may want to ask your child, if you were to rewrite the ending of this story, what would it look like? Or, if you were to make this story in a different mode, what would you choose and why? Remember, throughout our teachings of new literacies, we are not simply replacing the traditional teaching strategies with technology. Rather, we are transforming your child's learning to suit current society contexts to support their future inevitability of becoming skilled learners for life.